Alright, so finally the infamous chapter 8 stuff will be done today. So first we'll be doing number 1, where essentially it gives us the graph of f of x equaling the square root of 16 minus 4x squared. And so essentially it has it enclosed between -2 and 2. And it wants us to find the area of the volume of the solid that's formed if you rotate around the x-axis by 360 degrees. And so we're obviously going to solve this calculus way, although honestly we could probably just know that this is a sphere and solve it that way as well. But moving on, so essentially we can immediately just set this up as an equation of pi, put the integral formula here, -2 to 2, and then after that we square this because pi r squared, this is essentially our r, and that ends up being 16 minus 4x squared d of x. Under that, from this we can pull out the antiderivative of 16x minus 4/3 x cubed. And hey, that 4/3 looks familiar, doesn't it, whenever we're talking about the volume of the sphere. And then after that, we just simply plug in our numbers. So we plug in 2, and so that gets 32 minus 4/3 times 2 cubed, which is 8, so 8 times 4 is 32, so essentially we get 32 minus 32 thirds. And so because of that, we subtract that from, put this stuff around it. We subtract that, we subtract this from this, and so over here we just put in the -2 stuff, and so because of that, 16 times -2 is negative 32 minus 32 thirds. And then, oddly enough, because everything in here is negative and it's being subtracted, you kind of just end up adding everything. So you end up with a very satisfactory, whoops, I'm stupid. This should be an addition sign. Whoops, okay. Just pretend that never happened, alright? And so because of that, though, 32 minus -32 is 64. And then -32 over 3 minus 32 over 3 is minus 64 thirds. And then after that, so if we calculate everything and then we just multiply 64, we decided to just turn this into just a single fraction. 64, we convert that into thirds, is essentially 64 times 3 over 3. After that, so 64 times 3 minus 64 is just 64 times 2, which is 128, so we end up with 128 over 3. We multiply by that by pi to get 128 pi over 3 units cubed, and that is our volume. Alright.